Welcome to episode 160 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And I once was Stevie Wildbutt, but now I'm Daniel Quigley.
That's
Activated
right.
as a
Welcome
whole
to the
person.
show, Daniel Quigley. Steven, do you have any kind of like intro prepared for Daniel?
Tonight, everybody, we are joined by the dastardly devious, the daringly delicious Daniel quite quaint Quigley.
Nailed
my
it.
God, that
Pretend we have a soundboard of applause. Daniel,
Hey,
welcome to We Have Issues.
You know, it's just
Anthony, is it okay if I take a second because Stevie made a very special request,
Of course.
and he requested I do a song intro for him, like I usually do for producer Sean.
Naturally. Yeah.
And I've spent all of 5 minutes putting this together, so you can know it's a very
which is what he does for Sean.
Yep. And so I apologize if you don't. Is it okay if I do this?
Kill
for
it.
you
Oh,
guys?
you got
Kill it, sister.
On your mark, ready, set, let's go. Coheed Pro. I know, you know, I go psycho when his new comic hits. Just can't sit. Gotta get Stevie with it. Oh,
Nah,
that's it.
nah.
Now, Anthony, come ride. Barreled all up in my eye. You gotta not a bag with Master Swirldo in it. Give it to Sean, let him spin. Gina's looking at me, glancing the kid, wishing he was stabbing this id, because I'm such a handsome kid. Charmer Tremander from Kentucky. He likes it shiny. It's just for the look. He don't fight it. Anthony's dating robots all day. Give it up, Shawnee. Make it feel like foreplay. Yo, his cardio is infinite. Wild card styles all in it.
Yes!
Yes! Woo!
I feel like that's the best one he's ever done for anybody ever. So
For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, we're a weekly show in which Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to talk about the various life issues that come our way. Today, we're joined by the greatest hip-hop artist of our time. His album just dropped. It's
They call me Dr. Dreidel. Dr. Dreidel is what.
Dr. Dreidel, God. So, but no, we're so happy to have Daniel. Daniel's been a longtime friend of ours, a friend of the show. We've been on his show, Don't Make It Weird. But recently, Daniel, you released your very first book into the world. You are an established writer. I mean, everyone who writes is a writer. You are now a published author, is what you are. Which is fantastic, my friend. And I am so proud and so happy and so excited to have this freaking book, Thunderstruck, right here. You made it. Look at you. It's right there. So Daniel, you have this incredible book about the Cryptid Protection Agency. We just tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about the book, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see if I can get the log line right, because I always screwed this up because I made it too word twisty for myself. And so we're going to give this a shot. All right. The Cryptid Protection Agency is the group of people that protect the things that go bump in the night from normal people, and normal people from the things doing the bumping.
Ooh,
nailed it.
Beautiful.
So good.
Solid 5-second pitch.
5-second pitch. So, I mean, this is a book, like, I when I set out to write this, I wanted to write something fun, man. I wanted it to be fun and exciting and action-packed, because a lot of times, like, and there's nothing wrong with it. I love grimdark fantasy, Joe Abercrombie, everyone out there that does that. It's amazing stuff and has a great place in the literary world. But, man, the world's depressing enough as it is. Like, let's just go old school. Let's have a freaking adventure. Let's have some crappy, cheesy one-liners, and let's see what happens.
And let's chase down some gnomes that are stealing our friggin' steaks, man.
Can't have that. Not in this world.
Bull crap.
Can't have it. People always ask me, why do I hate gnomes? And Stevie, it all started with a steak, my friend.
It all started with a steak. By the way, I wanted to comment on that. I think I even said it in our group chat, but when I read the first line of the book being "I hate gnomes," period, literally in my head it's stored in like as a Moby Dick, call me Ishmael. Like that was like your like start, like just because I know who you are and like this hating gnomes like shtick of yours, where you basically have just despise those little suckers. Yeah, so reading that, I literally read it as just like that, like just like how he looks back and like even the film like call me ish, like I hate gnomes. Like I had like this like visual of that. By the way,
thank you, awesome. Man. I you know, that's one of those things is I actually really always love like opening lines in books because people know the iconic ones, right? The you know, the best of times is the worst of times. Yeah. You know, call me Ishmael. You know, for our Dark Tower fans, you know, the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed him. And like I just knew when I started this, like I was like, listen, I'm not saying I'm nowhere near the quality of those books.
Way above. Like it's crazy. Not even close.
Not even close. But like, I just wanted something that like would stick with you. I mean, maybe the rest of the book is gonna suck, but you'll remember my opening line.
No, man, your humor conveys really well. It's very it's entertaining for sure. It's very much entertaining to follow. Like, you do a great job, buddy.
So Daniel, before we get too ahead of ourselves with this, where can people find the book already?
So listen, anywhere that books exist in this world, if you want to go on Amazon, if you want to go on Barnes and Noble, if you want to send a messenger pigeon to Lost Boys Press,
yes,
probably not the messenger pigeon, but the rest of them will all work. There's
I feel like you're underestimating the pigeon technology. It has come a long way.
Technology's improved. I put it in my contract. I said I need to be able to get messenger pigeons out for this book.
Naturally.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys can find it absolutely anywhere. You can even go to my profile if you want to, give me a little look, give me a little like. We can be friends.
Heck yeah. So go check out, all the links are below. Check out Daniel's book. It's really hilarious. Also, Daniel, I just have to say, you name dropped our podcast in chapter 2, and I was just like, ah! And it was just like one of those situations. I was like, we're famous now. And I was, ha ha ha, we have made it. And it was just like, it's fantastic. So everyone go check out Daniel's book. It's really funny. What I love about it so far, I've only read the first 2 chapters so far. I will
totally good, man.
But what I love about it so far is like, you do a really good job at just like tossing in this like exposition world building, like
for sure, like it's almost dialogue, right? Like that's what I was kind of feeling like.
It's like my favorite books, and like I'm totally with you on like when I was writing like my first book that I haven't published yet, like I was just like, I want a popcorn book, like a fun, like, hey, feels like going to the movies, but in a book, it's like fun dialogue and stuff like that. And like that's what, dude, you sell that so well. It's like all fun dialogue. I feel like I'm just like seeing the scenes in my head really well, but you're also dropping these really cool little world building hints, here and there. And every once in a while, there's a sentence where I'm like, okay, now I know what that gnome is. Now I know what this is. Okay, now I see what he's an electrician. Like, okay, cool. And I love that. But you're building it so well and like organically, and I love that. It never comes across as like overly purple prosy or anything, and it never feels like a chore to like slog through. What gets me like with fiction is sometimes it'll be like too many names and too many places and like the description, it gets so much where I'm like, now how much of this do I actually have to remember and how much of this is not important? Like
it's 100% true. And like your pet peeve is exactly like mine too. And God knows that I have tried and failed 1,000 times at this. I mean, like if it's gotten to an integrated place, it's because I've done all those mistakes 1,000 times with like prior writings. And like, as a reader, when I'm going through it, I'm like, I get it, man. We're fantasy authors and we have spent so much time building this idea in this world in our head. And like, you want to get it out there and be like, no, listen, before I tell this story, let me set the whole stage for everything.
You just do your Star Wars crawl, but it's just like 7 chapters of like just world building. That's
Dude. Exactly. And so it's like, man, it's like the hardest thing as a writer to go through and be like, all right, they don't need to know that. They don't need to know that. Or if they need to know it, they can know it later. And like what you guys, went on is that like, for me, it's the same thing. Like dialogue is so important. Yeah. And like, there are a lot of characters in my book because, I want it to be a series. I want to explore each of these like side characters with my main characters we go forward. And kind of like my plan for future books, spoiler alert, is that each book will kind of focus a little bit more on one other member of the Cryptid Protection Agency in addition to Zev. So it's almost like from Avatar, the Zuko goes on a mission with everyone. Right. That's kind of the general game plan here, but I wanted to introduce them all in the first book.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. But you kind of touched on just like what writers go through and such. So I want to talk about, because our show is all about having issues and trying to overcome them and such. This book has been a long time coming for you, right? And like, I know you had some like kind of issues with confidence and getting through it. You like at one point you almost stopped writing, right? And so like, can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, I can. Can I make a confession here? Like, is this a safe space? Like,
no,
for all of us?
Absolutely not. Like, I'm gonna shame.
It's gonna go immediately up on the internet.
So sorry. Of course.
All right, you got the disrobing tool and the bell, right? So we can walk him through town square.
Exactly.
Make him Winnie the Pooh this bitch. No, I was kidding.
Listen, that was one of my original nicknames, is Pooh Bear. We could revisit that one at a later point in time. But can I make a confession, guys?
Yes.
And this isn't me being self-deprecating. This isn't me being like negative about myself. I'm not a very good writer, not in the technical.
I know. I've read the first 2 chapters. I know.
Thank you, Anthony. Your support means everything to me. But like from a technical standpoint, like I've never been good at commas. I've never been good at figuring out where the dangling prepositions are and what conjunction function, whatever shit happens. Like I very much so just I wing it. I just start writing words like this feels right. This is how a sentence should feel. And then when my editors get to it, they drink heavily. But but like that's the thing is that my biggest struggle is that I like to think I'm a good storyteller and I'm good at vocabulary and on word flow and ideas, but man, I am freaking terrible at the technical like grammatical writing. And so like this book, it was something I struggled with a lot because when I first did this and I wrote it out, and this was the first book that I went beginning to end without giving up halfway through and going, this kind of sucks. And I finished it. I was excited. I sent it out to my friends because in my youth, this was 10 years ago. So I first started this over 10 years ago. And I started handing it out to people and I was like, hey, you have an English degree. Throw me some comma help here and there. And that's very different than an actual editor.
Let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, exactly. And
how many comments do I need? I need like six or 7 more of those.
You teach kindergartners the ABCs. You can edit this bitch.
Hand this out to your students and tell them to each add a comma. I don't care where.
Yeah, exactly. We need, and I heard semicolons are a little bit risque, so maybe throw a couple in there to spice this thing up.
Possibly even 3 in a row.
37 in a row.
37 semicolons.
That's a good amount of semicolons.
And so like I did that, and after a couple drafts, I'm like, this steaming hot garbage pile of shit is ready to go. And I started querying this thing out to agents, and everything was crickets or just basic form. Like, it's not right for us. Generic.
Those are words. Those are words on a document. Thank you. Thank you for that.
They are words. and like and I didn't give up. I still wrote a second book in the series.
Heck yeah.
And I still loved the thing of writing, but I was kind of like, what, this might be that training wheels series that never gets off the ground. And then COVID hit, and I happened to be on Reddit, and I found this woman, Gracie Isanor, and she went out. And she was like, hey, listen, I'm just graduated college, with the editing thing. I want to build a portfolio. Like, hey, if any of you, like just random posts on Reddit, if any of you guys just want a manuscript edited, hand it to me. I was like,
me.
Yeah, me. And so like me and her connected, and she did an incredible job. She actually made it look like I knew what grammar was. And then I started getting confident, and I started putting it back out. And another small press was like, hey, we like this book, but we don't know who the hell you are. You're not on social media. You're not anywhere. And so then I went out there, and I was like, okay, I'm getting on Twitter. I'm going to join the writing community on Twitter. Yeah. And that's led to meeting Dina, meeting the podcast, meeting Lost Boys Press, meeting everyone here. And then Lost Boys Press taking a chance and going, oh, okay, hey, your book actually doesn't suck, man. Like, we like this thing. And then I got more real professional editors in there, like Ashley and Dustin.
Oh, yeah.
And now I somehow have a freaking book. So it was, listen, if I could tell anyone one thing at home, don't give up on it. Don't shelve that book. All it needs is the right hands and right eyes on it.
Yeah, dude, it's incredible because, Steven and I have been trying to make comics for basically 20 years. So like, we know what it's like to have something on the burner and be like, okay, is it done? It's not done. Maybe it's done. Like we literally went through, what was it, 3 or 4 iterations of City on Fire / Absentees. Like Steven redrew like the same story.
Dude, I redrew that frequency kill scene 3 separate times.
But each time it got better, and each time
and more violent.
More violent.
That's very important.
We got more confident. Well, I feel like Steven at some point was like, I'm imagining this guy's killing Anthony. I'm imagining this guy. This is what you get for making me draw this.
Dude, that last time though, it was like throat to chest. Like, I mean, it was like a brutal kill.
Dude, but yeah, no, you're totally right. Like I love that. I love that, you didn't give up, you stuck with it, and now here you are with your book published. So now that you actually published it, how are you doing with like? I know you already wrote the next book, right? But like, how are you writing? Like, how are you managing your time? What are you doing with your writing right now?
So I finished the second book. I had to go back through and kind of update it for continuity's sake, and some of the different things. Because I mean, that's the other hardest thing about this, as I'm sure you guys know, especially with old comics, and I'm sure it's the same with music too. It's like how many times do you just see that band that's just like, I'm not playing the number one hit that you guys have heard for the last 30 years. I'm not fucking playing that song again. I'm sorry, guys. And like, I think it almost gets the same way where it's like, you look back on your old work and like, I am proud of Thunderstruck. I think it's a good book. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like, I've looked at it so much. I've edited it so much. And also just as a person, I've changed in the last 10 years. And so like the biggest struggle, both in editing this book, before publication and then updating the second book, is that it's like, I'd like to believe I've grown a lot as a writer. I've changed a lot. And so things that I found funny 10 years ago, not funny. And like, there's times where I just cringed like crazy. And I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I want anyone to read anything I ever wrote, And so I think that was like one of the biggest struggles. And so, with the second book, that's kind of the big thing. And now it's off to the editors and we're working on that book. And then, I've sat on book 3 in this series for so long because I didn't want to start moving on book 3 until the first 2 were done and out. And so I think storyboarding out book 3, I've also got another series that I wrote in a different world. And this is more like a traditional thing called for anyone that's seen my short story, The Hanged Man, in the Heroes anthology from Lost Boys, it's set in that universe, and it's called The Carved City. So I've got that one, and that is a thick chunk of a book. It's like 190,000 words, and
oh my gosh,
yeah, I haven't even sent this to any querying or anything yet because I'm like, I believe in this book. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. But I need you guys to trust me a little bit before I try to
for sure. No, that makes sense. That makes
out there. So that's kind of where I'm working on, and then I'm currently writing a short story for the latest Lost Boys Press anthology. Hopefully, I'll get it picked up.
Oh, cool. What's the new one that's What's the new anthology they're doing?
It's Rebellion. So war comes for us all. So it's kind of a little bit of I'm excited about it, man. It's a fun topic.
Very cool, dude. So before we move on, I'm gonna do a monster test segment with you. We want to do a monster test segment, but before we do that, I have one more general question, because you did just release your book. What's it been like so far? Like, what's your experience like releasing it, getting reviews, or getting people talking, like seeing people posting pictures about it? How does it all feel? What's that like?
It's really surreal, man. As much as I like to joke around and be, a little goofy loudmouth, I don't. I'm bad at self-promoting. I like promoting other people. I like promoting collaborative things. And so it's funny because on one hand, I'm the golden retriever of the writing community, and I do love attention. I'm not going to lie. But I also, it's hard to constantly shine that flashlight on me. Like, there's so many people that have helped get me to the stage, that continue to help me, that like, it's hard to get all that attention. But man, I'm just so grateful. The writing community has come together. They're all so positive, so enthusiastic in their support. And I hope to be able to pay that forward to everyone that's gotten this book as well. And like, even just like on Facebook, because I normally keep everything off of Facebook. I'm not a Facebook person. But like, people that I haven't talked to in years are buying the books and giving me congratulations. Amazing. And I'm just like, it's overwhelming, man. It's been incredible, and I'm just so lucky.
No, it's amazing. We're so happy for you. It's been awesome. I love seeing it. Every time one of our friends in the writing community, like we see, like someone comes out with a book, like Shannon's book is behind you.
Yes.
I mean, like I got Shannon's book. Like every time someone comes out with a book, I love seeing all the pictures of everyone with their book. I'm just like, this is so cool. I love it, and it kind of like reinstills like a confidence for us too, where I'm just like, hey, like this feels more real and tangible. Like other authors and creators feel more like peers now. I feel like we're all kind of in this thing growing together, and it's really fun to watch,
And I agree with you, man. I mean, it's like, for as much crap as Twitter or X gets, and there's a lot of part that's a total fucking cesspool, but like, this little corner of the community, man, like everyone uplifts each other, everyone's got each other's back, and we're all just cheering each other on, man. And it's awesome. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's easy to get cynical about the state of the world, and it's just like having just like these little slices of positivity and humanity, man. It's it makes it all
Wonderful.
worthwhile. You know what I mean?
It really does, dude. Like it's funny. And it was partially COVID, but like and part like a big part of it for me was my breakup with my son's mom.
Yeah.
But like because like you had like the thrust of like the career, like you were like, oh, I really want to get on social media because it will help me with this book. For me, I was just like, at the time I was like, I'm a stay-at-home dad and I'm going through these troubles. I need someone to talk to. I'm just gonna I need some kind of positive attention right now. So I got on there and like before that, I never felt like the internet was a real place. Like I was always one of the, I was like, it's it's an illusion. It's all fake. Everyone's because most of the time,
all smoke and mirrors.
exactly, and that's how it feels most of the time. But like through Twitter and like being on there, I get to meet people like you and like it's like Steven's seen it. Like Steven,
I had brunch with someone I met from Twitter, right? Yes. So like that's
I still remember that hug, Stevie.
Yep, and I saw Coheed with this guy over here. Like, how wild is that?
Oh man, but yeah, so it's so surreal and it's amazing, how we grow these communities and like real friends and real relationships and true connections, and it's just like I think that's why a lot of us are struggling through some of these changes on Twitter because it's just like it's real to us and it kind of sucks, and it's like someone's peeing in our pool, and it's like I don't
fuck with our little corner, man. We got a good thing here. Just leave us alone, Alon. Just leave us alone,
please. Speaking of monsters,
the best segue.
Thank you. Speaking of monsters, every once in a while, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do a little segment we like to call the Monster Test. And what we do is we talk about a particular monster, a creature, a boogin, something that goes bump in the night, as you would say. And we just kind of dissect it a little bit. We talk about what our version of it is and what we think it might be. Of course, since you are a master of cryptids and a hater of gnomes, I do have. Before we get into, I do want to talk about gnomes with you because we have to. Yeah. But I want to ask before we ask anything else. In your I don't know how much research you did for your book because it is fiction, but what is one of your favorite cryptids that you've come up with before we get into it?
So I love cryptids, man, and especially like researching for this book. Like what I wanted to do is I wanted to take traditional like cryptid mythology and kind of turn it on its head because I'm a big believer that the longer and older a story is, the more it's kind of changed with time. And so I wanted to be able to put my own twist on it. But I also wanted to find lesser used and lesser known cryptids. So especially as the series goes on, I wanted to find the more obscure ones. But I guess I would say my favorite one, man, because such the main character and such the title is Thunderbirds. I've always loved Thunderbirds because I'm
glad you said that. Because I knew you would say that. Steven, will you please give us that theme song that we worked together about Thunderbirds and the Monster Test?
Look into the distance and you see the clouds are forming. I don't know how they say this, but I love it. Quetzalcoatl, I think. Quetzalcoatl. Nope, that's not right. It's a Thunderbird Monster Test. Boom.
Oh, Steven, every time.
Majestic. Oh.
It's crazy that we've done ghosts and Steven was like Quetzalcoatl. He kept saying it. He kept saying Thunderbird. I was like, I don't get why you're doing this theme song for vampires.
I'm like that dude from Heroes where I'm like painting, like was it Oscar? Or
you knew that someday this would come up.
It would come. So Steven and I, we knew from day one. We're like, we're not gonna work it in the conversation and figure it out in any organic way. We're gonna guess, and then you're gonna work out the song. And now, like before we get into anything else, we need to know. What is a Thunderbird?
So Thunderbirds is started. It's kind of a Native American mythological creature. Depending on the different tribes, every tribe has their slight variation, slight version of it. But basically, when storm clouds roll in, you hear that crack of thunder. Storms follow wherever the bird comes. They also would be known to communicate with certain members of the tribes that were the lightning dreamers. They have a lot of importance in that hierarchy, depending on the tribe that you go through. And so, one of the things with my story is that, I'm a basic white guy. I don't want to have, it's not my right to tell Native American stories and mythology. So again, I wanted to take my own twist on what we did there. But it's something that's uniquely ours as American. Like, the Fae are cool, but that's the UK, that's Ireland, that's theirs. And so finding something that has to do with our borders, our land, it's a cool thing, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. But we have to get into it, Daniel. We have
Yeah.
to we have to talk about gnomes. I need to know.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I need to know. I need to know. Thunderbirds
He needs
are.
to gnome.
I need to know.
It needs.
I've personally always gnome.
So Daniel, I have okay. So I have so many questions. Okay, first of all, I'm trying to figure out. You're the expert here. You know all about gnomes and hate gnomes. I want to know what a gnome really is.
So there are a couple different variations. The way I use gnomes in my book is not the traditional little.
But it's the
dude with a
true way,
funky
like the real
comical
way.
hat.
It's the
Yeah.
Your gnomes are the actual gnomes, right? Like these are the ones that exist.
These are the real deal. Because you know, I did when I first started, I knew I wanted there to be an elemental magic kind of mythology to my stories, and so but I didn't want it to just be, you know, because I felt like everything was just an Avatar ripoff at some point. If I'm just like, he's a firebender
Right.
or a fire twister, so like I was looking for
He's
like
a
ancient
fire starter,
terms.
a twisted fire starter.
I mean, if you were just following trends, he'd just be a firefighter, right? Because he fights with fire, but he's a firefighter. Get it?
You have an electrician, a firefighter. Are you gonna
Fuck,
have?
that's a really good idea. I need to go get the second copy of this. We're changing their names to firefighters. That's incredible. I'm not even kidding. I love this idea. That's gonna get written into book 2 and start.
Firefighter, wait, like the guys that put stuff out? No, we fight people with fire.
Putting fire with fire.
This is my friend. He's a firefighter. What?
I'm gonna need 2 downtown. I'm gonna need 1 on the hose. No, I'm just kidding. I fight with fire.
And so like I found like kind of the old timey terms for this, and it was gnome for earth elemental, sylph for wind elemental. It is salamander for our firefighters, and it is undine for the water ones. And then from there, I was like, man, if I was an earth elemental, and my name was and my term was a gnome, I'd be pretty fucking pissed all the time because everyone's gonna be like, "The hell you are, gnome."
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it all started. Is that gnomes kind of have a bad attitude because of the connection with the little gnomes, but also little bastards are creepy and scary, and they show up everywhere at my house, and I can't have that. I have to destroy them all.
They called them gnomes because they were just trying to like mess with their heads. Like, oh, you're so small. Like, no, we're giants. What are you talking about? Yeah, sure you are, buddy. You're just these little gnomes.
I do love that. I like the idea that they just can't get over the fact that people mistake it. They get so mad about it. Like, why? Just let it go, man. It's okay.
Yeah. It's like, dude, I'm not hanging out on your lawn, bro. Come on.
So
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
When I personally think of gnomes, as a horde player, when I did play World of Warcraft,
No, I regret letting you talk.
You go over there and look pretty, Stevie.
No, of course. Go ahead.
I just remember, like, when I think of gnomes, I think of the Alliance, race, and them gnome rogues and gnome mages teabagging me to death after they'd kill me in like some. That's I have a
what a
horrible
lovely tea party.
Yeah, they would say it too, but it would be in common or whatever it is.
But no, that's so okay. I don't want to like spoil anything in the book, but I do want to know. Did you have to do any research about the little pointy hat gnomes for the book? Like, did you go into it and actually? Okay, and does any of that come up in the book?
Not in this book, but I am setting up a gnome versus what people know as gnomes battle. Because at some point this has to happen. Like, this has become such a huge part of my identity that I can't just bait and switch the people. Like, gnomes are gonna matter here in my book series.
All gnomes, like all of them are gonna matter. All the variations of gnomes.
Murdered.
We're all gonna get murdered. No country for old men.
It's no country for old gnomes.
No man's land.
This book took a really dark turn, guys. Like in the first couple books, it was all fun and happy, and then it just turned into gnome genocide.
Gnomeward bound to hell.
Homeward Bound is good. just 3 different kinds of gnomes trying to it's an earth elemental gnome, pointy hat gnome, and an actual like little statue, and they're trying to get it home.
And the statue is definitely the sassy cat, and then the earth elemental is the old hoss,
Shadow.
And then
that was Shadow.
Yep.
Shadow.
And then you got champ, just your standard World of Warcraft, whatever version of a gnome.
Just teabagging everyone.
Just teabagging everybody.
Except, so here's me my twist on that is like, the big emotional final scene of Homeward Bound. I mean, spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen the original Homeward Bound, like, what the fuck are you doing with your lives?
Yeah,
But like that big emotional scene where they're like, I don't think Shadow's coming, and they're all just waiting, and Shadow, isn't gonna be there, and everyone's getting progressively sadder. But in the movie, Shadow shows up, and it's a big like, oh my god, he made it.
Mm-hmm.
In my book, Shadow isn't coming home. That gnome is staying dead.
That gnome is staying dead. And we're celebrating his death.
Someone's teabagging him. Just awkwardly.
This is for Stevie!
This is for Stevie.
Wrong time. This is a dish best served cold. Can you just wait? Can you just wait just a minute? He's representing Shadow right now. This is tough.
The kids do not understand.
Okay, so about your gnomes, what do you think people should know? Like, what are they actually like? Because they're obviously your main characters that has a prejudice against these gnomes for good reasons, But what are they actually like outside of his prejudice?
I mean, so listen, Zev has a very narrow view of the world. He's been kept away from the magical community for most of his life. So his only experience with the gnomes so far have been his uncle, who was like that anime like master teacher that was terrible at his job, but really brutal. Yeah. And then Captain Kira, who is the leader of the Cryptid Protection Agency, and another guy named Rock. And all three of them have kicked his ass consistently. So he has a pretty terrible view of gnomes. But in general, the gnome community, I mean, it's diverse. It's just like anything in life, man. Some people are good, some people are bad, and most people fall in between. But Zev has only seen the lower
bad
end
side, the steak stealing side.
Yeah, dude, that was one of my favorite things early on in the book is when he says something like, I'm like the Muhammad Ali or Michael Jordan of getting my ass kicked or whatever, like that cracked me up. I was like, I love this. I like the idea of like the main protagonist in the story not being a great fighter. It's so good. It's perfect because otherwise it's like we've all seen the people with the golden fists who can dodge every punch and never nothing, the Superman or Goku's or it's like, all right, they get hurt but they're gonna win. But this guy just sucks at fighting and he knows it. I love that.
He's very well aware of where his skill set lies.
With great power came great responsibility. I just wasn't up to snuff. So
luckily I don't have much, so I can be irresponsible.
Exactly. Okay, so we learned a lot about gnomes. I do want to do a Monster Test 2.0. Steven, we've given us we did our special version of the song. We've given me like this the real song, like standard edition Monster Test song.
I know you're hung up on how you say Thunderbird, but I got something different for you. Have you ever imagined a fearsome earth elemental and thought to yourself, hey, that's a gnome? No, you haven't, because gnomes have hats. Maybe they guard gardens, but they definitely aren't giant rock earth elementals. Unless you're Daniel fucking Quigley. This is the Gnome Monster Test.
So,
beautiful.
As made obvious from that beautiful song, we're going to be talking about Jar Jar Binks. So this is a monster
I've been waiting my whole life for someone to ask me about Jar Jar Binks.
This is a monster test about a creature that I honestly don't know a whole lot about, aside from the huge cultural phenomena of prejudice that's built around this
this guy's gonna be badass.
So for those of you who are uninitiated, go watch all the Star Wars prequels. You'll learn of a character named Jar Jar Binks, and if you go online, you'll learn that many people aren't a big fan of Jar Jar Binks. There is one person I know, however, who is, I dare I say, the biggest fan of Jar Jar Binks. So much so that, I mean, I can see Jar Jar over your shoulder like a beautiful angel right now, and right in your hand, of course. So you have two. You have two Jar Jar angels.
I think that's the Jar Jar I sent him.
That is the Jar Jar you sent me. It has a place of honor in my house.
I love it.
So I need to ask you, as the Jar Jar expert, first of all, what is Jar Jar Binks?
He is a Gungan of the planet Naboo. He is an amphibious creature, can breathe both air and water. He can jump very high. He's got an incredibly long tongue. He is a little doofy, But he is the most effective character in the prequels at accomplishing his missions and his tasks. So I would say he is an undefeated success rate.
I would say, like, okay, like he sounds like someone you wouldn't want to fight. Like he sounds like someone who could literally drown you. Like he sounds like someone who could destroy you in many
especially
ways. Like,
yeah,
good.
Especially because we all fucking know that fucking Darth Jar Jar was supposed to be a damn thing.
That was gonna be the thing, man. That would have been the best twist ever.
I mean, what a hero's journey into villainy, right? Like that would have been incredible. Like if at the end it was like a Jar Jar Binks like Thanos snap situation, like building toward like, oh, look at this ridiculous character, and now we're gonna watch him lose something, and then he's gonna lose a little bit of heart, and he has the full Anakin Skywalker trajectory of becoming Darth Jar Jar. That would have been outstanding. But what happened instead was we got a hero with a heart of gold, right? Like someone that like I don't understand the hatred. I don't know if it was the voice. I don't know if it was like just people are like, ooh, this is not my Star Wars. I don't know what happened, but I am really curious about like your experience with it because I know of the hatred. I know you know how funny it is that you like Jar Jar Binks.
Yep.
And I almost didn't ask. I even recorded a whole thing before I like got on with Steven where I was just like, I don't even know if I should ask this because I don't like breaking bits. Like I don't like if you know like I don't want to be like, hey, show me behind that curtain, bro. What's going on? I know you know it's stupid. You know, like I don't want to do that, but I do want to know like what is it about Jar Jar and what's your experience been as a Jar Jar fan? What keeps you going?
So like here's the thing. If we're gonna peel back the layers of the potato, as we like to say on Don't Make a Weird podcast.
There's one. Trust me, laddie, I know.
I've got that rebellious streak to me, man. Like I like the characters that people don't like, and like even in my writing, like especially you'll see it in the Carve City, I like taking an absurd premise, an absurd concept, and writing it like straight, writing it as something real and not just a comic bit, you know? And so like with Jar Jar, it started out as me being like into him ironically, where I was just like, yeah, hey, yeah, you guys all hate Jar Jar. I think he's awesome. But then like you start like I don't know, maybe it's a Stockholm syndrome, a Gungan syndrome. You start like just doing that and like coming up with reasons to defend your position, and then you're like,
wait,
actually, he's amazing.
I mean, does this mean at some point you're gonna have Stockholm syndrome?
Stockholm syndrome.
Son of a bitch! Interview over.
We told you we're not talking about this.
We had one rule, Anthony. One rule. But no, like, all right. So it started out as kind of like a joke, but then like when I'd rewatch it with people and then watch, I'm like, okay, his character isn't that bad. Like, yeah, it's meant for younger kids. Right. Jar Jar is not meant for 35-year-old lifetime Star Wars fan. He's there for the kids, and Star Wars has always had those characters that made it accessible to children. And if you ask any of those people that grew up watching Jar Jar when they were kids, instead of like, I've been waiting 40 years for the for Phantom Menace, and no matter what comes out, I'm gonna be disappointed. Of course, the kids liked Jar Jar, and I think that they had too big of bunny ears because it was a fun character. It was goofy, but Jar Jar has that heart of gold, and like I said, he plays a very important part. And one of the most disappointing things for me, and this is me being serious, is that in all the Mandoverse, all these TV shows, all these spin-offs, everything, we haven't even seen the Gungans again. Yeah. Like, if you want to put Jar Jar Binks away, but like, you erased an entire central race.
Yes, that's a really good point because, like I was saying, and I was being serious about like the amphibious character is like not to be trifled with if you think about it. Like if someone that has the ability to like jump and like have the strength and have like the crazy tongue, they're basically an X-Man. Like they're a mutant creature.
They're actually better than Toad, if I'm honest, because they're obviously stronger than Toad.
Yep, exactly.
And they have pretty high level technology, and they're the only ones that can do those super jumps without using the Force. Like they can take on someone that
That's what I'm saying, though.
It would be so
Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah, but it would be so easy to redeem not only that character but like the entire race and like in that world and be like, hey, yeah, we might have had this silly character, but look at what they lived through. You know, like this is a character who's trying to be, you know, this positive character, but they have these issues, and we can see the dark side of that, and it's fun.
And there's a lot of cool world building. If you go back and watch Phantom Menace, like just the subtle background building about how they built Gungan culture deep underwater with the little bubbles, and just how the ships look and how everything looks like very animal and aquatic. And I'm just like, this is a cool race. Like, fuck the Quarrens, man. Give me more Gungans.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I agree. I feel like George Lucas got like Kevin Smith there.
Yeah,
where
totally.
basically people just like cornered him and told him how crappy Jar Jar was, and instead of just like sticking to his like, yeah, no, I like Jar Jar, he like backed down, just like he basically Jersey girled it. You know, it was just like
he did. I will not. I'll never understand Kevin Smith. I feel like Jersey Girl is actually Kevin Smith's best movie. Like
can we do a movie club? Can we watch Jersey Girl together, guys?
Yeah, I totally would. I see like I feel like, well, like performances and everything. Yeah, there's a child actress, and like she does an okay job, but like performance wise and like script wise, it's his most naturalistic movie. Like it feels like a movie, but in a good way. Whereas his other movies, there are always these little parts of it where I'm like, no one talks like that. That's a weird bit, and it's like that's not.
Yeah, a little surrealism.
It's a little surreal. Yeah, whereas like that doesn't hold up very well because of cultural stuff or whatever, whatever it may be. And it's just like, come on. But Jersey Girl, pretty solid throughout. It's touching. It has like the parental
George Carlin's in it.
And that touching scene. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think you're right, Steven. I feel that too, where it was just like, no, you
he just got cornered, and he just didn't believe in himself enough in that moment, you know.
And the crappiest thing for the longest time, and I will give the Star Wars community credit because they've turned it around with both Hayden Christensen and Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks. Is that like, think about it, man? These people were so despised by a bunch of fucking neckbeard dorks, and I am a dork. I love my Star Wars dorks, but if you're one of those people that's sending hate mail and doing that type of shit to those guys, like, I'm not associating with you, man.
No, like, it's garbage. It's garbage human behavior.
Yeah, and Ahmed Best had to put up with so much. I mean, having any sort of career after that with the vitriol he got was insane. And so that scene where they brought him as an actor back into the Mando universe was one of the coolest things ever. And everyone getting behind it and going, we should do better and treat these people better. And it was the same thing with Hayden Christensen. I mean, man, seeing him back, like, I get goosebumps about it because it's like, God, these people are human beings and they did their absolute best with what was given. They can't write the script, man. They're just actors.
Yeah, no, dude, totally. It's pretty amazing. And everyone, let us know what you think of Jar Jar in the comments. Let us know. You know what? Let us know something you liked about Jar Jar.
Yes.
Tell us something you
only
enjoyed.
positive.
Only positive stuff. I know it's a YouTube comment section, but be nice.
Listen, you know what? I'll go one further, Anthony. I'm going to keep one copy of my book Thunderstruck aside, and we can get together. We'll have a tribunal, the three of us, and whoever has the best nice thing to say about Jar Jar Binks, I'm going to send a free copy of my book. They're my people.
You hear that right now? If you're watching this, there's a free giveaway. All you have to do is say anything nice about Jar Jar Binks in the comments. There's probably only going to be one of you. There's probably going to be it's you. Sean, go ahead, do it. Daniel will send you a book. He probably
Sean hates Daniel so much that he will squander his free book to just rip Jar Jar asunder. He won't think twice.
He won't even.
He's like, I've already bought the copy, so this is my free. He goes,
you can't give me another one.
He's just gonna Donatello that keyboard.
All right, guys. All right. So we talked about Jar Jar. We talked about gnomes. We talked about Thunderbirds. Daniel, it's been so much fun to talk to you. We have one quick segment I want to do. We have questions from the colony.
Let's do it.
So we hit us with that song, Steve.
Oh man, three for three. Okay.
Right. We
my ears are ready. My body's ready.
Gnomes. We covered Jar Jar Binks, and we talked about Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
But now people got stuff to say to us because it's questions from the colony.
Yes. It's okay if I just be your hype man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have been for 160 episodes. I don't understand why like you've been doing this. So every time we do questions from the colony, Daniel shows up. If you don't know, go through all of our episodes. Call us out if I'm wrong. I'm not.
There's only one way to find out. You guys should watch every single episode.
You should pull a South Park and do what they did with like the whole Tolkien, and then like put like Daniel in every episode.
That would be the dream. I'm just in the background somewhere, just like doing like the little John Travolta, just like look around and then walk away.
All right, so we're gonna fire through these so we don't run too long. So let's see. Ready? Fowler on Twitter asks, "What's he got against gnomes?" We've covered that pretty extensively, but let's give it like a 3-second gnome hate pitch.
Gnomes made fun of my mother, and I'll never forgive them.
Fair. Ooh. All right. One of our best friends at Lost Between Worlds asks,
"Love that comic."
As a fellow dad, I have not unlocked my dad joke potential. Is this something that you gain with time, or do you have any tips for me to be just as good as dad jokes as you and Anthony?
Listen, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of practice. You have to look at yourself in the mirror every single day, and you have to ask yourself, why couldn't the orange make it up the hill? Because it ran out of juice. And you can't do that. All right, guys, you cannot run out of juice. You look at yourself in the mirror and you come up with every dad joke that you can, and you tell it until it just comes to you naturally, till it flows through your body. It's like getting into the hyperbaric time chamber. All right, all dad jokes all the time. Get strong like Goku, boys. Let's go.
You got to live in the dad joke. So real quick, just side story. I've learned with the dad jokes, they become more powerful when your children can them. It's like you form more energy. And when we were on our way to Sarasota for vacation, Chasey goes, "Are we going to Sarasota?" I'm like, "What?" Because my sister's name is Sarah. I go, "Aunt Sarah doesn't drink soda." And Cambria from the back seat literally went, ugh. Like so disgusted with me, bro. Like it was like she was so disappointed and disgusted, and like she doesn't know, but she actually just jumped me to the next dad joke, like Super Saiyan level.
You gained a new belt color.
I have a new belt color.
Can I also tell you guys one of my secrets, and this is an honest to God true thing that I do. So like for those who don't know, I also coach soccer, and I coach like high school age girls. I got like 3 different teams. And so how I've actually managed to truly level up with dad jokes is that we have a tradition where before every practice, they have to run a certain number of laps. It's not a punishment. It's just conditioning for the season. But I tell them, I'm like, if you guys can make me laugh with a dad joke, I'll take a lap off your pre-practice run. And so I have outsourced my dad jokes to about 50 girls that go out of their way to all run up and tell me dad jokes. And they've all embraced the dad jokes. They've researched the dad jokes. And so that is how I made dad jokes work for me, is I've incentivized young children to get out of conditioning by telling me dad jokes.
Amazing.
You make the next generation tell dad jokes before they can be dads.
Exactly this. Dad jokes are for everyone, guys.
Yes.
Okay, so Jess Lee at Soft Apocalypse has asked, who would win in a fight, Jar Jar Binks or Princess Leia? One of them must die.
Oof.
All right. That's a mean question. Question, Jess. I thought we were friends. I thought we liked each other, okay? Here's what would happen. Leia is way stronger. Leia should, on paper, wipe the floor with Jar Jar, and it shouldn't even be close. This should be a complete ass-kicking. But like Jar Jar showed you in the battle with the droids, he just kind of, he slips on a banana peel, he falls down, and he's going to win by some absolute unlucky, well, for her, lucky for him, break.
Yeah.
And
classic.
Yeah, Jar Jar wins, and we're all going to hate it even more because he should never win.
Fair. Rip. Okay, so producer Sean, who loves you so much, asks, marry, fuck, kill, Plo Koon from Star Wars, Vigilante from Peacemaker, and the Deep from The Boys. Oh, God.
Oh, God. They're all such incredible characters. He knows me too well. Plo Koon was my favorite of the old Jedi Council. I used to like playing with him, Jedi power battles. Yep. So, obviously...
You gotta marry Plo, right?
You gotta marry Plo. I need those midichlorians in my life, all right? You gotta marry Plo. Vigilante, by all accounts, he seems like a fantastic lover, surprisingly sensitive. John Cena doing his thing. And the Deep, even though I'm intrigued by his chest skills, yeah, man, he has to be killed. There's no way around it.
And he's the worst. I mean, he tries to redeem himself a bit, but it's like, nah, he did some stuff. He's not great. I don't like the Deep. He's a jerk. Let's
the octopus.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, there's that. He's done several things where I'm like, okay, never mind the Deep.
Yeah, he deserves to get murder-rated. Sure. I try to forget the first episode.
Yep, I know. Okay, so NJ Alexander, what is it? Nick Alexandropoulos on Twitter asks, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Okay, don't blow it, Nick, don't blow it.
I
How
love
many
Nick so much.
how many Caterpies could you theoretically take in a fight?"
Oh man,
That's
you
a
gotta
tough
remember
question.
they're string shot, bro. You're done if they all
Yeah.
start throwing string shot at you.
Yeah, I mean, listen. So you have to understand something. Me, compared to most people, is the most prepared to deal with Caterpie's bullshit because I grew up as a Godzilla fan, and Mothra was the OG at string shotting people. And so I'm preparing for this for my whole life. If this was Weedle, then I would be worried because that's got the big ass horn. I might accidentally step on it, might kill me. But I think I could take out about a dozen Caterpies before those little bastards string me up enough that I'm incapacitated.
Funnily enough, I think you apply the stop, drop, and roll technique, and you just start rolling over them. That's what I would do.
Just take them all.
Oh my god, that big guy's not stopping! I'm just like rolling.
Momentum, boys,
baby.
is how you firefight. Wait, what? I don't think so. Okay. Okay. One of my favorite people in the entire universe, one of the most beautiful people, greatest wife, and just most incredible best friends I've ever had. Tina Todd at Tina Be Awesome on Twitter asks, "Okay, F, Mary, kill Gnomes, Jar Jar, and Sean."
That's a tough one.
A good one.
Tina, we shared a moment, you, me, and Steven, when we all had a hug together at the Coheed and Cambria concert. Okay. And I thought we had a moment. So this hurts me a little bit. Obviously, I have to marry Jar Jar, even though Sean is a close second.
That means oh Sean.
Sean and me are gonna have a little one night stand.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sean's like, just kill me, bro.
Somebody bring the wooden stapler.
Yeah, I figured that's where that would go. Oh boy.
Yep.
I would marry Sean, definitely bang Jar Jar and kill, I guess, all gnomes, although that sounds tough. That's genocide.
You are really good at this.
Yes.
Just imagine the tricks Jar Jar can do with his tongue, all right, man?
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I chose properly there. Jennifer.
He did something to my penis.
I'm with you, Stevie. I'm with you, man. I don't know where you're going, but I'm with you, bud.
That was a sexual hero's journey that I was not prepared for. So, okay. Jennifer, aka Ein Toki, on Twitter asks, "Having loved the Hangman and now Thunderstruck, I'm interested to know how you balanced the outlandish and the sentimental, because every damn time it's ridiculously beautiful," which is a great question to end on.
That's a really good question. And huge shout out to Jennifer, man. She's a great friend on Twitter. She's always a huge supporter. I'll look forward to her writing her own stuff someday. You know, bits that I've seen, she's a fantastic author. So huge shout out, Jennifer, man. Thank you so much. So, like, one of the things that for me is that I think that, you don't have to put yourself in the box one way or another when you're writing. And for me, I coped with the daily world through humor, as I know you guys do too. And that doesn't mean that you don't go through tough times. It doesn't mean you don't go through difficult, emotional, gut-wrenching, shitty things. But like that ability to still laugh despite all of that, I think is such an important thing. And I think that if you're in a book or any type of storytelling format where you can fully get the full spectrum of human emotion, I think that when there is the humor elements and there is the heart to it, it makes the darker stuff hit that much harder. And it also makes the light stuff feel so much brighter when there's that contrast between the two things. And so I just think that in any story, whether you're writing a horror story, whether you're writing, I think that's one of the best things in, the Marvel universe is that, they are telling serious stories, but they allow Captain America to be fun. Captain America before the Marvel movies, unless I'm sure on some of the comics,
he was pretty straightforward. He was
he was
cool sometimes, but he was never like.
And I think that made a character that was, for most people, unless you grew up a hardcore Captain America fan, most people, he was on the back burner, man. He wasn't, but 20 years ago, if you said who's your favorite Marvel heroes, Captain America does not get ranked super high in a lot of people's polls.
Oh no, especially with like the whole like renaissance of X-Men, like and like they kind of took out the Spider-Man.
X-Men and Spider-Man took over our generation entirely, right?
They really did. Yeah. Especially due to like cartoons, I think that helped. Like the X-Men cartoon, the Amazing Spider-Man, like, and then all of the Spider-Man, like iterations of them.
And listen, we won't even get into the rant that is justice for freaking Gambit, but justice for fucking Gambit, boys.
Yeah, seriously.
But I think that humor adds so much more depth to characters and stories, and I think that they don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can have fun moments and still tell something real.
Oh, for sure, dude. I completely, I feel that and totally agree. That's a great answer. And with that, we're gonna get out of here. So where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dan Q Writes Thing. That's Dan Q Writes Thing singular.
Dan Q writes. It's not dank.
Well,
it looks like it's dank.
It looks like it's dank.
It looks like it's dank. Like I'm pretty sure it's dank thing, but
allegedly gnomes refer to it as dank. So you choose which side of this that you want to be on.
You post
also,
below,
so you can go find
Jar Jar,
you can
and
go
also...
find Daniel at dank. Dank writes things. We've chosen.
No. If you want a fun little Easter egg, hold on, Anthony. Are you able to get on your browser right now? Can you do a quick Google for me?
No,
I'm the Google man. I got this.
Steven, you Google because I have my tablet.
I'm the associate
All right.
producer.
All right, let me know when you got that tab open, bud.
I'm ready to type in Google.
All baby. Right, so dumps the number 4.
All one word, by the way.
Yep, all one word.
Success.
Yeah,
dank. Nope, dank Q.
Yep,
dumps
dank
for
Q.
dank.
.com.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. So it takes you to Don't Make It Weird?
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay.
The domain name.
I just went like dumps like a truck. I was like, what is Stevie looking at right now? I was like, oh my god. I'm jealous.
So yes, you can check out
the Google fill outs are pretty interesting.
Oh, I bet they are.
I want to know what dumps for success is. I'm interested in that. But yeah, you can it'll take you to the Don't Make It Weird podcast. We are your writing, storytelling, comedy podcast for the writing community, by the writing community, and I do it with Sean and Dina, and we're best friends of this show, and we freaking love you guys, man. So hopefully our Venn diagram of audience is just a circle. That's what would make me happy.
Heck yeah.
It's getting there, right?
So at the very least, if you're watching this right now and you've never seen the Don't Make It Weird podcast, go watch our episodes. I did notice, and I'll tell you, I'm gonna be as petty as I could possibly be in this moment.
Please do.
I was super proud that we had your most views. Like we for a long time, like we held it for like a year. Like we were just like your most viewed episode. And I was like, yes, that makes us feel good. We're a show. We're also friends. We help each other. Here we go. And then some drooler, some random guy that I don't know. I'm sure he's great. He's probably like he's super sweet. I watched the episode. He's a nice guy. However, he's not
son
Steven.
Of a bitch.
He's a son of a bitch. Like, how dare he come in and he got more views over time. And I don't even know how it happened because I watched it and like the couple weeks it came out, it did pretty well. It did okay. And then out of nowhere, it exploded. And I was like, I don't know if he's home and he's like, I'm gonna get Anthony. I'm gonna make Anthony insecure, and he's gonna ruin this guy's life. I'm gonna ruin his life. And I was just like, he's doing it. This is ruining my. Maybe it's me checking the views to see how many views he has.
that you've been inadvertently working against yourself.
I'm just working against myself.
Shit, I don't have my computer here. I guess I have to log in on this browser at my.
Listen, he's TikTok famous. He's a TikTok famous author, and we had no idea. So we got him on the show, and then we're like, same thing with you. We're like, oh, moderately successful, fun episode. And then that episode exploded, and we're like, I'm just like, man, I need to get better at TikTok.
I got to get on TikTok, or
I'm
don't make
so
it
bad at it.
What the hell? I hate it. I hate TikTok so much. Anyway, Daniel, it's been amazing talking to you, dude. Thank you so much. I hope, I can't wait to get to book 2. I'm definitely gonna read this and leave a review. If you've seen this episode, we know you love Daniel already. Go check out his book, read it, or leave a review on Amazon and Kindle and all the Goodreads and all the places. Also, just go follow him on Twitter. He's always funny and always just amazing. And Daniel, we love you. Thank you for being here.
I love you guys, man. I'm so honored. I love Deathless too, man. I'm obsessed. I've seen the digital copy. I can't wait to have the physical in my hands. Man, it's a journey, and I can't wait to do this all again with you guys soon. This is the best pod friendship. No, fuck that. It's a real friendship, Anthony.
It's real.
That's right.
Real.
We'll be due for a don't make it weird episode soon. I think.
Invite us on. How dare you?
Always. You guys have a standing invite. All you
we're firefighters, bro.
Listen, just send producer Sean a text that just says sup.
You
He'll
up?
know.
I'm just gonna write
you up.
You up? All right, Steven.
We have to continue our journey into the Susan. All right.
Oh yes,
Steven. What do you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Everybody, Thank you so much for wishing my beautiful wife 1,000 birthday wishes and setting my Twitter alerts on fire, and then quote tweeting me and mocking me for being the largest person in the two.
That was so weird. Steven, did you see it? Steven, did you see my response? Steven, did you see it?
No, I didn't, because I have 1,000 fucking alerts.
Steven, okay, wait. Let's before we get out of here, we do have to talk about this just very because it's so short.
Please,
dude,
I'm so excited.
It's so short. So Steven made a beautiful post about his wife. It's he posted a picture of Steven and his wife, and it's just a lovely picture of them. It's actually such a good picture that my mom saw it on Facebook and she came to me and went, isn't this such a lovely picture? Just like that, which is hilarious. Like, no, dude, it's so funny because it is just such a nice picture. Like, if you're not a terrible, crazy internet person, if you're not a creepy weirdo, you see it and you think like, oh, those are just two people who are like happy together. Look at them go, good for them, right? This person quote tweeted the picture, and wrote, if it's her birthday, why are you the biggest thing in the picture? And Steven responds like, yo, bro, I'm just having a big head, man.
I'm huge. That's almost ratio right there. That's like 1-to-1 almost.
That's incredible.
So I wrote, like, I laughed and I was just like, I can't believe you responded to this, because I would have just like blocked that.
Oh, I did see that. Okay, yes.
No. So I wrote that, and then after that, I posted this. I'll put the picture here.
Oh, please put it in our little group chat, because I need to hop in on this, because I've missed this and I'm so excited to join this party late.
It's so funny. But anyway, so everyone go check that out. Find us on Twitter and you can see all of like those ridiculous hijinks, and like comments on, don't attack the people, but like make jokes with us, because like, who does that? Who like,
so crazy?
Who hops into a birthday post with negativity like that? Anyway, but thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for buying Daniel's book, which we know you did. Also, go check out www.wehaveissuespodcast.com and buy Deathless issue 2. It's out now. It's out on digital now. It's going to be out. Steven, I did just get an email from the people at Kablam because I was pestering them and it worked. Why does it work? If they don't want me to pester them, don't do it when I pester you. You know, like, what do you do? Like give it a week. But if I pester you and it works, it's going to happen again. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So I pestered them and they said, we're printing your book now. So they're going to ship a book in the next couple days and we're going to get it. I can't.
And that's our 12 stack though. And then we got to do, and then we'll do the big hurrah, which they will probably rush even more because it'll be a bigger order.
Oh, and I'm going to complain even more.
Listen, can I just say from personal experience on this, and no pressure for y'all's game on this, but Stevie and Anthony always do great little personalized like gifts to you when you buy their comic. They put little stickers in, they put all sorts of fun accoutrements. Like it's a fun surprise whenever you get one of these Deathless comics, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we do, like, it's, you know, we do offer the stickers and stuff for sale, but we end up throwing stuff in packages anyway. Like, it's like, we want people to have stickers and like have, if you want it, if you like our show, we want you to, we're happy, you know, like we love it.
I put a Chow Tzu sticker on one of his packages once.
Yeah, you did. I loved it. As soon as it came to my door, I saw Chow Tzu. I was like, that's Stevie.
I don't know if I lost it or if I never sent it, but I had a TN slap wristband at one point too. I thought I sent it to you. All right, love you guys.
Love you guys, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
I'm Daniel Quigley.
And this has been We Have Issues. See you next time.
Boom! I love that adult toy section, not the adult toy that you're thinking of, Naughty New News, but the big kid toy section.
The ones that make you Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Is there anything we should know that you totally want to talk about aside from the book?
Nothing, man. Let's just go over the show.
Daniel is Steven Wildcard confirmed. Yeah. I love it because Anthony asks me the same question every week, and that's my answer every week.
The funniest thing about
let's just see where it takes us, man.
Yeah. Our show, I end up talking a lot in our show, and I get it. Like, I'm like the, you know, I lead the thing, you know, I drive the bus or whatever. But like, people don't realize I always give Steven, like, Steven, what do you want to talk about? And it's every single week. No, man, I'm good. Like, no.
We're
Got
just doing this. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Let's just
Let's do it. Put it on YouTube right now.
I'm really good at like when people talk like and listening to what they're saying. I'm good at like finding my own stories that correlate to what they're saying. Basically, I don't like to like derail.
No,
that's ultimately what it is, you know.
Oh yeah, you totally you just compliment and escalate, and it's the best.
Yeah. No, it's like here's what's funny is I still remember the first time like we had you guys on the show because like we didn't know you at all, Stevie. Like we didn't even know you. Like we didn't even know you existed.
Mhm.
And like Anthony and like Anthony sent a message like, hey, so like if I'm gonna be on your show, like is it okay if I bring Stevie with us? And we're like, fuck is this guy? Okay, Anthony, whatever, man. Just I guess bring your emotional support, Steven. Like whatever you need. And then like you came on, and I'm like, oh my god, Stevie's amazing. This is the best thing
wild
ever.
card, baby.